what a great start. I cannot tell you why I decided to make that noise. It just kind of happened. That's okay. Listen, we just gotta figure it out, you know, or not. We could just live with the consequences of it being a thing that happened. And I think in a way that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing that. Eh. Oof, my head. My head is heading. It's doing that thing heads do, where it's a head. If you could believe it. I can't. I definitely know that I cannot. I'm still in the process of waking up right now. Yeah. Uh, give me seconds. I'm doing things. All right, I'm here. I'm alive. Shh, it's too early. Oh, okay, sorry. Don't worry. How are you, sweetheart? Doing all right. Hi. Going to walk your dog, little fella. Can you even hear me when I'm like this? Oh, sorry for waking you up, Queen. Please let me serenade you back to sleep. I don't really know many lullabies though, so that sucks. I guess I got Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I guess. Let me see. Lullabies. I got this. Hold on. It adds no nappies. No. This cannot be. No. Oh, I have an idea. After the ads, I have an idea which will help me help you help us. Do not worry, I will save you. I got you. Do not worry. Ah. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Oopsie. Make that message there. Wait a minute. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder Papa's gonna sing you a lullaby. And now we wait for the ad to end. Oh, I can sing to you, my friend. I wish you could find. Na, 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 na. Welcome back. All right, here's the plan. Plan is very simple. I must simply sing you a lullaby and get you back to bed. The secret to growth is actually to sing a lullaby anytime anyone joins the stream so that they fall asleep and they can no longer leave. Because now that they're asleep, they're in the stream. They can't leave the stream. They're asleep. It's genius. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird won't sing, Papa's gonna buy you a diamond ring. If that diamond ring turns brass, Papa's gonna buy you a looking glass. If that looking glass gets broke, Papa's gonna buy you a billy goat. If that billy goat won't pull, Papa's gonna buy you a cart and bull. If that cart and bull don't over, Papa's gonna buy you a dog named Rover. If that dog named Rover won't bark, Papa's gonna buy you a horse and cart. If that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the sweetest little baby in town. And a big smooch on the forehead. A big ol' smooch. After tucking you in, of course. Yeah. Now I'm sleepy. I mean, I already was, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. I guess I'll sing more lullabies while I wait. Um. Hmm. I guess my problem is not only not knowing lullabies, but also I don't know how they're supposed to be sung. Bram's lullaby seems to be pretty popular. I just don't know how it's supposed to be sung. You know, I could go with this. I could go with the classic. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. When the blazing sun is gone, when he nothing shines upon, then you show your little light. Twinkle, twinkle, all the night. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Then the traveler in the dark thanks you for your tiny heart. He could not see which way to go if you did not twinkle so. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay. Alright, that's all I got. So, the plan today. The ideas I got in my little noggin of mine. What's happening all around in there. So, originally when I was doing this, and I was thinking of it, the idea was that I would code some simple first person stealth game mechanic in Unity. Um, and I might still want to do that. But during this week, I've also been thinking of ideas for a tabletop role playing game. Not D&D, like we're going to be doing tonight. Um, but my own. Like I've been writing down ideas and notes, which I tend to do a lot. But for this one, it got to like a word count of like 3,000 or something, which isn't a lot for an essay, but is a lot for just ideas, I think. So, what I plan to do, or at least what I want to try doing, is making some of those rules a bit more concrete, or at least like better written down. And I also want to do some playtesting of it. So I have my camera, and at some point I'll be turning it on, and I have some miniatures and a piece of paper, and we'll just try playing the game. I'll let you guys be I'll let you guys like be the characters against my character. And yeah, that's the plan. I think that's what we'll start with, and then I might. Oh yeah. What time was the thing tonight? What time zone are you in? Are you in EST or are you CST, PST, or Gray ST, Future ST, EST? Okay, it's 9 p.m. It's 9 p.m., but I also might do it at I might do it in the morning if enough people prefer doing it in the morning. Oh, bet. Okay. OMG, am I gonna see the amazing glow? Oh, never mind, not the amazing glow. I'm more like amazing pain in my ass. I'll do the push-ups. Thank you. Let's go, Luna. Have a good day. Thank you. Have a good day, Queen. Have a good day, Luna too. Thank you. I'll do my push-up. Gee. Even though my tummy hurts. Oh, my thing. My thing fell on the ground. I blame you. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ow. It has been done. I've done the thing. Move this back. Alright. So it's possible it's gonna sound. It's probably like this stream is probably gonna be a bit boring, but I'll try and make it more entertaining by explaining ideas and stuff I'm unsure about, and you guys could help by solidifying my thoughts. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done push-ups because no one's done it. No one's made me do it. Okay. So for this game, I don't really have a name. I don't have like any name at all for it, but that's okay. I'm dying. So, what I want to work on is like basically just the combat of it. I want to make the combat feel dynamic and yeah, I want to make it feel dynamic, but have like a backing by rules. So instead of saying like I okay, hold on, I need to catch my breath before I realize now I'm gonna be talking a lot and I need to catch my breath. It would be prudent. Okay, so what I want, or at least what I think I want, is a system where in combat, you are not only able to use everything around you, but you are incentivized to do it. Like you are a. The idea is you are a type of warrior in a way, or some kind of soldier or something, who excels in more improvised kind of forms of combat. In that, like, you could think in your head, think like I guess most action movies in a way, like Old Boy, or I guess John Wick, Nobody, The Equalizer, like just any kind of movie where there's high octane fighting scenes where the protagonist is just like using everything that's around them to fight, like hiding behind corners, stealing other people's weapons, grabbing stuff off of counters, things like that. That's what I want to like evoke. The ability that I could be like, okay, what's around me? Like, when I'm playing the game, I want to be like, ask the GM, or like at least see on the board or something, like, what's around me? Okay, can I grab this ashtray, for instance, and throw it to my enemy, like throw it at my enemy to try and make the ash blind them, to give me an opportunity to like get close, or again get like an extra hit, or recover. That's what I want. That's what I want to evoke. Also, I just thought, I've been thinking of just so many ideas for this game, for like, I guess, balancing or things where you could do, and I just keep writing down. And usually all of my notes start with maybe this. Like, everything's up in the open. Okay, so so the way I thought of how I could do this is, I would have, so I want you to be able to say whatever you want, right? Like things that I wouldn't be able to think of and write down in a rule typically, right? I would want that. So I want to have like a more open-ended structure, which makes you go like, okay, let's say I want to, let's continue with the ashtray example, I guess. If I want to throw an ashtray, right, to cause blindness, then that would be a throwing action, right? And the throwing action would apply blindness. So now it's just about finding a way to. So then you like look at the throw action. What does the throw action do? And then you would look at the blindness condition or modifier, and what does that do? And is there any cost to performing that action? Yeah. Is there any cost to performing that action? And what are the benefits of performing the action? Yeah. Now I already have some idea in place, but like I said, everything is kind of open. But I can start writing down and explaining my ideas, and we could go from there. We could go from there. And I'm so bad at talking right now. Okay. So I'll just start with a bit of flavor, which is, you are a soldier slash auxiliary for a Military force. Now, my flavor is the thing that's the most open. I want to have gunfire. I want to have like firearms in this game, but I don't want um I want to have firearms and I want you to be like trained, but I don't want you to be like restricted from what you want to do by what like your higher ups tell you, I guess. Because the idea is the pro of the story being that you are a soldier in a military force is that it's very easy to just be like, oh well, you're higher up. If I want as the GM slash the game master, if you don't know what a GM is, as a GM, if I want to tell you, hey, please like go take out this base, for instance, right? Like that's my adventure. As a If your character's a soldier in a military force and a military like and a part of the military force tells you to do something, you do it. Right? That's the idea behind it. So it makes it very easy to get from mission to mission, I find. I think there's a real like there's something there that's useful. So that's my idea for that. But I don't want people to imagine the more like modern approach because there can be the modern, but what I'm thinking in this is that there might be some it's like might be low fantasy, like there might be some magic involved or some sci-fi kind of technology, and your weaponry just might not be like super high tech. Like there will definitely be some tech involved, but it might not be super high tech. Like it might just be like World War I, World War II kind of era, but with some added magics. Now, part of this kind of like restriction does get help if I say that you're an auxiliary or at least something similar, where the idea is you are technically a soldier, where you are well trained or at least trained if your character sucks or it's too, like very early on. You are a like trained force who aids the military and is given tasks by the military, but you are not officially like conscripted or like slash enlisted with the military, which means that you have that bit of leeway where you're supposed to do what you're told by the military, but let's say you were to be like a complete like if you were to completely go against the military, they could just let you go without any big repercussions on them, right? For a military, I'll put military in quotations for a military force. Um, there is low fantasy with some sci-fi aspects, analogies. This is just very like cookie cutter kind of. I guess that's not the way you explain it. Sorry, my bad. This is very like low right now for explanation, just to give you an idea of the idea to give you an idea of the idea. right? I just want you to know a bit better like what I'm trying to go for. I was gonna write something else, but I don't remember what. There's some sci-fi, low fantasy with some sci-fi, fantasy magic with some sci-fi aspects and technologies. Um, I don't remember. Okay, I should just focus on my idea. Is like there's no classes; it's skills, which is not a new concept in TTRPGs. I don't think anything I have or anything anyone ever comes up with can really be. Although there might be some uniqueness to the combination of ideas. But also, I don't know enough about TTRPGs to really speak on the matter. Anyway, I do want to have stats. I don't really know what stats there are yet, apart from marksmanship. That's the only stat I really have figured out. Marksmanship is just your ability to uh, shoot firearms effectively. That's literally all it is. So it's like kind of an overall, you are better with guns because of marksmanship. And stats, I was thinking right now they range from 0 to 5, which means to discover what, to like know what your ability is, you would roll probably like a d6 and just -1 it. Um, what else did I get? I also had an idea for one called anticipation, but I'm not fully sure how I want to use it. I'll explain more later for that. Um, equipment. No, let's not talk about equipment. Um, let's just talk about. Let's talk about skills. No. Okay, forget marksmanship and stuff right now. I guess what I want you to know about is combat. How it works in combat. You have a single turn per round. A round is defined as um hold on. A In combat, a round is defined as it's whenever everyone participating in combat has had a turn. Round is defined as is whenever anyone whenever everyone participating in combat has passed or performed their turn. Every individual in a combat gets a turn. Okay, so remember this is very bad explanation, but this is typical of any kind of TTRPG. So the idea is just everyone gets a turn, right? And then once everyone has done their turn, that's a round. it's very bad writing, but I'll probably like switch this around. Um, so during your turn, you have a singular maneuver that you can perform. So this is your action. So unlike other games where you can move and attack or attack then move or like grab someone and then attack, whatever. In this one, you only have a singular action slash maneuver, right? That's how it works. Uh, Here are the maneuvers. So in the maneuvers, you have utilization, or I guess you just utilize. Utilize means either throwing, hitting, or using, or otherwise using something. I'll give an example. Throwing an ashtray, an ashtray. Stabbing with your knife. Shooting with your gun. Drinking a health potion. These all count as a utilized maneuver. Because you are utilizing the thing, right? When I'm stabbing with my knife, I'm using the knife. When I'm shooting with a gun, I'm using the gun. When I'm throwing an ashtray, I'm using the ashtray. When I'm drinking a health potion, I'm using the health potion. Right? That's the idea. Next is a move, right? Allows you I guess for this it's better just climbing, walking, running, etc. Anything that involves movement, right? That's what the move action does. It's any kind of movement counts towards this. So for example, I'll just like, I guess not example, but I want to say, note you can typically only move one grid at a time. What I mean is like, like on the grids, right? Like on the 5-foot grids or whatever, that you could only move, if you use the move action, you can only move one space. I guess I'll change it to space. One space at a time. During a maneuver. Or for a maneuver. During a maneuver. Okay. Next, I have grab. Grabbing an item. Like, hold on. Any form of grabbing. Now, this is useful for taking your weapons out, grabbing slash grappling an opponent, or grabbing an ashtray. We'll just continue the ashtray off a counter. Now that's the importance of it. Right? Oh, hi Tony. Hello. So what I'm doing, Tony, right now is I've had this idea for a tabletop role playing game, and I'm trying to solidify and explain my rules, and then later we could try doing something with it. We could try doing some play tests of it. I'm sorry if you did that. Oh no, you did it a minute ago. Okay, thank God. I was like, I might have missed that because I've been just explaining this the entire time. I hope you're doing well, though. Okay, now my last maneuver is focus. Now, focus, this one's a bit weird to explain, but this is useful. Some things require, or at least are better with focus, like shooting your gun, right? So, aiming requires focus. If you want to properly utilize your gun, then you have to do focus. Right. I'm fine. Well, how about you then? I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm just out here. I'm making stuff, making games, game makings. Uh Tonight I'll be doing a community night in my server where we're going to be making what's it called? We're making D&D characters first edition. So Tony, if you want to make a first edition D&D character, hop on by. Going to be at 9 p.m. EST. If you don't want to, but you still want to hang out, you're still free to be there. If you want to or don't want to, because of social anxiety, you could just mute and be there. And if you have any questions, you could either ask in the text channel or you could just DM me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just promoting that because I want to do D&D first edition with you guys. I guess I'll make it just easy. You have one maneuver that you can. I guess I'll just do this. There you go. All right. So focus can be used to aim, to anticipate an attack, and I'll explain what anticipating an attack does. And let me see if I wrote anything else down. That's mainly what that's like the main ways to use it, but I'm pretty sure there's other ways. We'll quickly check. It's nice when I have your mon mates. Huh? Like the video game? I just looked up what mon mates was. I assume the mobile game and paste or to concentrate on a spell. I do want to give more reasons to use focus, but right now that's all it's there for. Monmate Master. What about Monmate Master? You got an ultra rare? Is that what you're telling me? You got an epic ultra rare right now? You an ultra rare getter? So, along with this, there's also going to be skills and techniques that your character gains, which will give them more options. What is released a few months ago? That is that mobile title RPG. Ooh. Are you a level 100 mob boss in it yet? Listen, we can all communicate if you're a 100 level 100 mob boss, right? I'll look into it though. Hold on, let me look into it right now. Let's see here. Monomate Master. Limited time exclusive gifts. Become Monomate Master. Sacrifice on the battlefield. Build your garden. Planting, fishing, and mining. Collect epic mon mates. Train and involve 100 plus companions. Assemble the dream team. Summon mon mates and win battles. Choose powerful classes. Master strategies for every time. Ho ho. It's more average level cap. It can be thousands of. It can be thousands. Jesus. I assume you're saying like for your character, not for the mon mate. Or is it for the mon mate? If it's for the mon mate, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing. I'm going to die. All right. So now, apart from this, there's also the idea of skills and techniques, right? Now, when you are performing a maneuver, most of the top players are around 5,000 levels. Jesus. God damn. That is that is something. Now, yeah, so you also have skills. Now, skills are something that you can tack on to your maneuvers, right? So, for example, I could have a skill that. Let me write that down. Skills are something you can add on to your maneuver to make it a better, to improve the attack, to make it a better attack. I don't know. To make it a better attack. That's again, these are terrible ways to add it. You can have multiple skills added to a singular maneuver. This will be true until I decide it's too strong. But for now, it's true. I'm all 4,000 now. Damn, good job. Good job. So, as an example, I could have one that's like applies blindness. Okay. So now what this means is on my turn, I'm holding an ashtray, or like I'm holding a smoke bomb, right? Like something like that. So then what I decide to do is I will utilize the ashtray to throw it, and then I'll add the skill applies blindness to it. So now whoever I hit with it will be blinded. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? So holding ashtray, I decide to utilize it to throw it at a target with the skill applies a blindness. So now the ashtray like makes more sense, right? So this is the like kind of how I want it to work, right? I want to be able to do stuff like do anything really that I want, and then I just have to look at the rules for something that is close to what I'm trying to do to see what mechanically it does to make more like dynamic combat. Now, I don't want you to just be able to use infinite skills, right? Like if you have like 10 million skills on you, I don't want you to just say like I use all my skills and it's over. So there's going to be another thing which is called exhaustion. Now, I'll just put it here, I guess. So skills, so characters, players and NPCs alike have exhaustion. That they can use to perform these skills. All right. A skill will cost a minimum of 1 exhaustion to use. Right? So now what this means is I could throw it for free, but it will cost me an exhaustion to make it apply blindness. Okay? Makes sense? So now I actually have like a few skills written down. So I'll write them down here and I'll explain them as I go. So I'll just write apply. So instead of apply blindness, I have apply condition. So what this means is I can choose a condition to apply. So your utilize maneuver applies the chosen condition this turn. Okay. I also have aim true. I want to have a better name for this because I guess I'll explain what it does and then you'll see. No roll is required to see if you hit. Now, this is important because the thing is, I want it to be any roll. So this includes melee weapons. So aim true is still technically correct for a name, but it doesn't feel right to me. Next, I have calculated. Calculated is if this utilize maneuver kills the target, no exhaustion is spent this turn. I might change it to round, but this turn. Otherwise, this skill costs 2 exhaustion. Now, this is the important thing. So now, if I use the calculated skill, right, then I have the benefit of, like, if I use any other skills or any other kind of exhaustions this turn, then I'm good. Like I've helped myself in that way. I might change it to this round though. I think I'll write round in case you use your exhaustion on other people's turn. But that might be too powerful. We'll see. My philosophies for this, I should probably write down what my ideas are, is I want it to be hard to I want the game to be hard to hit, easy to die in. So there are multiple ways for you to avoid like getting hit. But when you do get hit, you are either dead or very close to dead. Okay, so that's calculated. Then I have uh category expert. It's a passive skill. So this is just you gain a +1 on 2 hit rolls in the chosen weapon. In the chosen weapons category. Can be gained multiple times for different categories. Right, so we have that. Hard hitter. When you use an exhaustion condition, you can optionally add a prone condition as well for an extra exhaustion. I will also write this because this should be written down. You cannot use the same skill. Sorry, you cannot add the same skill to the same maneuver multiple times. So this means I can't go and apply multiple conditions. I could only apply one condition per turn using that move, obviously. Okay. Hard hitter. Quick reload. You can optionally you can opt to reload in one turn, or I guess in a singular turn, by dropping your empty magazine on the ground. So in this game, it takes a turn to not only it takes a turn to not only take out the empty magazine, but another turn to put the full one back in. So it takes 2 turns to reload. This one makes it 1. Strong throw. You can utilize a throw to double the normal throw distance without any drawback. Measure up. You are able to determine the skill of your opponents, assessing their mastery they have on their weapons, their stats, skills, etc. Embed. Your melee attack deals max damage, but is now embedded in the target. You must either drop the weapon, letting it go, or take a turn to remove it. The skill applies condition blindness. There you go. That makes more sense. I'll put this on its own thing. Example. Okay, that's a good example. We love that. Okay, now I guess I should write down some conditions. So, conditions. I have ideas for conditions written down, but I don't have like exactly what they do. So I won't write all of my ideas down. But blinded utilization utilization maneuvers or just, okay, utilize maneuvers made get a -5 penalty until you take a turn to get rid of your blindness. Tripped. The target is knocked down on the ground and must take an action to get back up again. I think it should like it needs to stop you from doing stuff like while down you cannot. I don't want to say completely attack, but while down there's moving focus, grabbing. I don't know. I don't know how to. Maybe just a penalty again, but I think then if you make trip and blinded the same, it's different. It's a bit weird. Maybe just make it you can't attack at all. The utilize maneuver. We'll go with that and see how that fares. Next is disabled. Disabled body part. Now, if the body part is holding something, it is forced to drop that weapon. So if it's only is forced to drop it, and that's all I have written down, like for sure. But I have other ideas. I guess I'll just write them down, but like without explanation because they don't have one. Deafened, stunned, frightened, restrained, grabbed, incapacitated, and redirected. I guess I do have something for grabbed. I do have something for grabbed, but there's a lot to write right now. Okay, so trying to think if there's anything else. Characters typically have low health, low amount of health, has a medium amount of speed. Um, Characters who have low amount of health as well as low to medium Amount of fatigue. They I'm trying to remember how I want to explain stuff. There's something else I wanted to say, but I don't remember what I want to say. Oh, right. Okay. 2 hit rolls are rolled on a d10. D10. Now, the d10 is the thing I'm also unsure about. I might want to change it to a d12, but this is generally how the rules are. This is like kind of all the rules I have, kind of a bit. So now I'll show you like 2 characters. I'll show you a setup, right? I'll get some miniatures, I'll show you a setup, I'll give you like some characters. And we could try playing. I'm just setting up. Setting up a scenario. I hope you guys will be able to properly see this stuff. First, I want to do a scenario where it's 2 people who are equal. They have the exact same stats, exact same everything. The only difference is they're trying to kill each other. I guess the only difference would be that one gets to go first. I haven't yet decided how initiative works. I don't know if I want to change it every round or if I want to have it just stay static. Because having it stay static helps. So you don't have to keep track of so many things. But if it changes, then it's more dynamic. Okay. So I will hide this for now. I will activate the hand cam. Just moving some stuff out of the way. Okay. That was not plugged in. It's not plugged in. I need it plugged in. Boop. All right. I will also, I guess, move this stuff so I can have some light so it's easier to see. I should probably make. I should make those lines a bit easier to see, I guess. Is that easy to see? Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay. I'll do this for a second. So you guys could actually see the grid. Very important. Doot, 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 doot. Here we are again. Ba bee 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 boo boo. Da dee 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 da 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 da. Ba ba da ba bum. No. Alright, let me move this stuff. Just move this stuff out of the way for a second. This is very important business here. I have two scenarios I have built up to try and give an idea. One I have is of it's this where it's two people equal to each other in an equal setting, and another one is kind of reminiscent of Old Boy, where it's one very strong character versus many weak characters in a corridor. And I want it to not only be fair, right? It's not only about it trying to like be fair. In a way, it's not really fair in Old Boy, right? I want to make it so that you feel strong, but still probably have the chance of dying. But only after taking out some folks, right? Also, I just realized I forgot to write down some rules, or at least explain them. So I will go back and do that. But now this is good. This is in the middle. These characters are here. These are here. I wish I had another one of these. It'd be a lot easier to show what I'm trying to show. And also I forgot to have this. I don't really have many like miniature things, so it's gonna be hard to showcase what I want to showcase. But that's okay. It's whatever. I will deactivate this for a second so I can show this and type out some extra stuff. Additionally, characters have a exhaustion maneuver where they can use an exhaustion on their turn to perform an extra maneuver but that maneuver cannot use any skills. So this is a way of getting two maneuvers on your turn. It's just that the second maneuver cannot be used with exhaustion. This maneuver must
the exhaustion maneuver must be performed after their regular maneuver. That was one thing, and also anticipation. You can elect to anticipate from a target. If this target were to utilize something in your vicinity, uh, attack you, approach you, approach melee range, or etc., then you can take a reactionary maneuver against that maneuver. If you do this on your if you did not anticipate, then it will cost you 2 exhaustion to perform a reactionary maneuver. Okay, so now what this means is, let's say this person wants to attack me. Oh, you can't even see anything. Let's say an opponent wants to attack me, right? Right? So they attack me. I can use 2 exhaustion to use a reactionary maneuver to try and stop it. Now I should probably write down. I guess I'll write this down for me. Remember to write down some specifics on what can be done during a reactionary maneuver. Okay. Now what this means is, if this person's trying to attack me, right? So they throw something at me. I could use a reactionary maneuver to, instead of getting hit by it, catch it. So I use exhaustion to catch it. And now on my turn, I could decide to throw it back. Right? Oh, another thing I wanted to write is characters performing the same maneuver over multiple turns will have that maneuver cost 1 exhaustion until they switch to another maneuver. There you go. I think that's all the rules I wanted written down. The idea is, like, it tries to make you more dynamic in the moment. I can't just shoot, 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 shoot. Right? If I want to shoot, I can like, if I'm safe and far away, then it's probably going to be useful for me to just keep shooting, right? To use the exhaustion, because I'll have time to gain that exhaustion before they get to me. Otherwise, in the moment, if I'm close to them, I might want to instead bob and weave. I might want to anticipate. I might want to aim. I might want to, dodge. I might want to hit him, throw something. Like there are reasons for me to try and do different things. Now I might make it so I also want to write exhaustion maneuvers do not count towards this. Possibly change this last part. Okay. So now let me give you back to this camera. All right, there you go. The camera has been given. You now have camera. Oh, okay. You now have the camera. So what I'm gonna do is I'll give you the info on these characters on just like a little text here. And I will show you how it goes. So week 5, 2. There's some things I didn't like really explain, but I'll go over them. Also, I know that you can't really read all that well all of this right now, but that's okay. Do not worry about it. Do not worry, I will get to explaining things. Okay. It'll take a bit. I do it. Why is it? Why can't you see everything? The hell? How do I change this? Can I? Can I not? What? Do I gotta? Do I really have to do this? What? How do I? Why is it doing this? Alignment, vertical top. Man. Why is it? Why does it do that? Maybe if I change the size. Okay, that worked. Okay, so here is our character. So now for this scenario, both characters are like this. Also, I think what I'll do is I'll change the hand cam a bit so that I can make it bigger. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. I will also move myself because I'm in the way. There you go. Okay. Ah. And now I'll also add some text for both peeps. So this is I'll just write character one. I can figure out character two, I guess. Okay, character one. It's 5 health. I want to change. I want to change that, but now it's okay. Let me change their names. Let's say we got Mush. Whoops, we got Mush here. Mush, and then this is Oni. Mush and Oni. Mush, Oni. Okay, perfect. Ah. So now let me explain. Let me explain this stuff, and let me wake up. So what we have here, actually, I could. It's probably too much text. What I'll do is I'll remove these and I'll just use these dice. Use these dice here to. There you go. That's easier. Now you know this guy is 5, that guy is 4. So marksmanship determines how well you are at hitting, how good you are at hitting something, right? Let me remove these. Actually, I should have probably kept those. I'll keep these. Uh, I'll just add Oni HP. This is the HP. This is the HP. Because I forgot about fatigue, so fatigue will also be there. So this will be fatigue. These right here will be fatigue. So I guess I'll I'll do attacks and like I'll just do a combat here without explaining much. I'll also move the dice here so you guys can see. That'd be cool. Boop, boop, boop. And also there are D2s, which will just be a coin. Here's a coin. Well, you can't even see the coin. But there's a coin, I swear. You gotta believe me. There you go. Okay. Let me explain the scenario here. So we have Mush, and we have the Oni. Mush, Oni. So here, I'm using an eraser to act as a table, and an ashtray is being represented by this plastic bit. Okay? These two are pillars. So even though with this one you can't really see, it's supposed to be like all going all the way up, right? So characters can hide behind these by stepping on. They could be on the area where the pillar is, or they could be behind. But while you're behind a pillar, if you don't have line of sight, you can't be shot at, right? Same thing with this pillar, even though it's a bit harder to tell. Both characters are the same. They have the same stats, same skills, same equipment. They are both going to start out by having their gun out. The gun has 5 rounds, so it can be shot 5 times, and they don't have any extra magazines, so they can't even reload. And that will be the scenario that we're going to go with. I guess I'll roll a d6, and whoever rolls higher will go first, starting with the Mush. He rolled a 1, so the Oni rolled a 2. Oni will go first. All right. And we'll just continue with this order. Oni, Mush, Oni, Mush, Oni, Mush. Okay. I guess I should also have... Let me give some info over here. This is the cheat sheet. Cheat sheet. We have utilize, move, grab, and focus. Okay. So we start. This Oni and Mush have both entered this room and come face to face with each other. The Oni gets to go first. They will decide to gain the upper hand. They will decide to utilize the table in front of them to kick and try and hit the Mush, applying the tripped condition, so they'll be fallen to the ground. The idea of this is that if they were to try and run somewhere behind a pillar, then that would give the Mush the opportunity to aim at them, potentially hitting them. They could also try grabbing the ashtray to throw it, but again, grabbing the ashtray would take their turn. So the quickest solution that they found was just kicking it. So they kick the table, applying the condition. Let me get this. Applying the condition of tripped, which will cost them an exhaust. Boom, kick. Now this will just move him back, but it will trip him, causing him to fall over. Until he gets up, he will not. I'm thinking maybe not be able to use utilize. Yeah. So now that they're tripped, they can no longer use the utilize action, meaning they'll have to get up if they want to shoot again. Now the Oni, knowing that they have the upper hand, will use an exhaust maneuver, going down to 3, to move behind the pillar, or at least get closer to the pillar. Now it is the Mush's turn. Also, I just realized I forgot to write some more stuff about exhaustion. Characters gain 2 exhaustion at the start of their turn. If a character reaches 0 exhaustion, they pass out. And if you're in combat and you pass out, that's pretty bad. So yeah. Okay. So now they will obviously use their turn to get up. But because of how far behind they are, they decide to, because the Oni has not aimed their gun yet, they assume that they will be unlikely to get hit. So they will use an exhaust action, an exhaust maneuver, to grab the ashtray. Now they have the ashtray in their hand, in their offhand. So they have 2 hands, right? One has the gun, the other has the ashtray. Now it's the start of the Oni's turn. The Oni gets 2 exhaustion back, so they're back up to 5. And they will decide to, because they have the ashtray, they will likely use it to throw and blind them. So they want to get in a hit immediately. Now they know that they have exhaustion, so they know that they have exhaustion, so it's kind of dangerous because they could likely do something like aiming and shooting immediately. But they decide to take the risk. What they will do is they will quickly aim. They will focus. I can't. This is the thing. I want to have. I need to write this down in my skills. Aim true. If the weapon requires aim, then you still need to aim to attack through. Okay. So, what the get this thing out of here. I guess I should write focus. Okay, so they will focus, aim, right? They will focus, aim, and then use the skill aim true, and then use exhaustion maneuver to shoot. So now, because they use the aim true, they don't have to roll to see if they hit. They just hit. And it's an M911, which is a D4 plus 1. So let's roll D4. It's a 1 plus 1. That's 2 damage. Now, they will actually take that damage they won't try and reduce it. So they will go down to 3. So now it's their turn. They go back up to 5 exhaustion. They will utilize to throw this, throwing it to the Oni and applying the blindness condition. So boop applies blindness. You don't have to roll to see if you hit for something like this. At least not right now. Now I'll take the ashtray out. Actually, no, I'll keep it right there. No, I'll take it out. These things, I'll just say these things break. So now they're blinded. They'll have to take their turn to remove it. But what Mush will do is, that took an exhaust, and they'll also take another exhaust. Where is it? Take another exhaustion to grab the table. Their idea is that the next turn, they can use the table to flip it, utilize it to flip it, and give themselves cover. But now it's the Oni's turn. The Oni will go back up to 5 exhaustion. They will use their turn to remove the blindness and then to move over here, closer to the pillar. Mush's turn. They will utilize the table, grabbing it to flip it up so they have cover. They will then use an exhaustion to they will then use an exhaustion so that they can. No, wait, you can't do that. Never mind. All right. Oni's turn. Oni moves behind cover, diagonal over here. Now they're both behind cover. And we'll probably start taking pot shots at each other, right? So, for example, like, utilize the table because you never let go of it to drop it like this. And then maneuver here, which is 1 exhaust. That's an exhaustion maneuver. This is mechanically how the game works, right? Right now, it might be a bit too slow. Right? Unless the players get like really rough and into each other's faces. And I feel like exhaustion, they might have too much in this case. Maybe I'll just make exhaustion, you get 1 per turn. Right? Might do that. But this is the overall idea. So now this sounds like, for people who don't really care about mechanics, it might have sounded boring. But the idea is, like, if I reverse everything back and kind of do like a small kind of replay, if you're role playing, you don't have to be like, I do exhaust maneuver, I do this skill. You could just be like, you don't have to be like, I utilize the table, right? You could say, okay, the Oni, It's better to have like names, but I don't really have them. I'll just go Mush. So I go. I'll call him Red Cap. You know, even though he doesn't, he's Gray Cap. I'll call him Gray Cap. All right. So let's say Gray Cap goes first, and he wants to kick the table. I could go like, all right, Gray Cap. Gray Cap decides to kick the table to knock over their opponent. So okay, so that's the role play. The role play goes. If the fight starts, let's say like every turn is like 3 seconds in like game time, right? I'll go like Gray Cap kicks the table to knock over the Oni, right? Then boom, that happens. That's a utilize action with the apply condition maneuver, apply condition skill. So that'll cost you 1 exhaust. They're knocked down. The Oni on their turn will attempt to get up. Will attempt to get up and use their exhaust maneuver to grab the ashtray. Then, boom. They get up, grabbing the ashtray in the process. On the Mush's turn, he knows that he's either going to get shot or get something thrown at him. So I'm going to try and duck behind cover. So I move and then I use my exhaust maneuver to dash over. I think what I could do also is I should maybe make a skill. I've been thinking this, so I will write it down. Skill idea. A skill that allows you to move an extra space, but you go prone doing so. Yeah, okay. So it runs here for an exhaustion, right? But the roleplay is I try and dive behind cover so they can't hit me. Or it makes it harder for them to hit me. So now, because they're not behind cover, if they had the skill, then they'd be here and they'd be prone. But they don't. So now I say, okay, the Oni will, because they know they're gonna hide behind cover, they're going to throw the ashtray, trying to apply the blindness. That's not roleplay. So I go while they're also running towards the pillar. They will try and throw the ashtray to try and blind the Gray Cap. So how you do that properly, right, is it's a utilized throw with the applied blindness condition, and then an exhaustion maneuver to move closer to the pillar. So that's a cost of 2. They'll go here, throw it. Now they're blinded. Now it's their turn. They go like, okay, I'll smear away the blindness while I continue to go try and like get closer behind the pillar. So that's just an exhaustion maneuver. They go down to 4 again. Right? Now the owner could be like, okay, I will get behind the pillar and trying to anticipate their next move. Or try and prepare for them to attack me. So now they're going to go here. Right? They're going to stay at 3 because they go up 1, then they spent 1. Now it's Mush's turn. Now, mush can be like I move here or like I do this, right? So that's the idea of the game. The game isn't just like I use the utilize action to do this. It can be for people who really like mechanics like me. That could also be fun. But the idea is that you can very much role play all of it. It's about role playing and then choosing the thing that's the closest to your action, not the other way around. Although it can be. Yeah, I'll change it to they gain one exhaustion. Um, Also, I realize calculator might not be that useful, so I might change it to you gain one exhaustion back. Um, yeah, but the nice thing about this too is like about this kind of like play is you don't really need to know the mechanics that well, right? Like the GM, you could just role play and the GM can tell you how well that thing happened. Because it's not too difficult, right? If I role play the idea of I'm throwing something to, I'm throwing an ashtray to blind you, then I instinctively should know that's utilize action with the apply condition skill. Like that's pretty. It's a simple system in that way. And I have an idea. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna change how the anticipate works though. Yeah, but this is the overall idea of the game. So you would not be able to really up your health much, but you'd be able to up your stats, fatigue, your fatigue being your exhaustion. I should change that, and being able to learn more skills. I also have another idea for a potential fight to be found in, which is instead of two equal people, you would have one very skilled individual versus many fodder enemies, being enemies that are very weak. So you could have Gray Cap here, right? And then you would have. I guess you can't really see that. You see Gray Cap? You'd have Gray Cap there, right? And then you'd have. Like 7 enemies to fight. Let me move this paper. So the idea here is our boy Greycap is very strong. And it's a small corridor, so you can't really be surrounded that easily. And you have to fight through all these characters. Now, Greycap, he has a bunch of skills, right? That's our boy. Meanwhile, these guys have 0 skill and not much HP. Or exhaustion. And then that would be the fun of it, is that you get to get into this area where you are very strong against people who are not very good. But again, it's very simple, very easy for you to die if you just keep using all of your exhaustion. But as you get more skills, you can become more what's the proper word? You become more like efficient in a way just through the process of how the game works. Because if you have the skills, if you have a skill like calculated, right? Where you might lose you might lose extra exhaustion if you don't kill. But otherwise you get some exhaustion back, right? As you learn the mechanics more, and also as you get better at hitting things, you'll be more likely to be able to kill things and determine when it will happen. And also, you'll have more things under your belt, right? Like, apply condition is a very useful skill, which I might just make a default skill. Maybe not. I don't know, because I think apply condition is very useful to role playing, but is also just is just a very useful skill in general. Because the more skills you have, like, it's kind of like more. You get more opportunities to roleplay with the more skills you have. Is a way of looking at it. Also, it keeps telling me decentivize isn't a word. Am I just writing it wrong? Oh, disincentivize. That is what it is. Useful trying to stop this maneuvers at the cost of your. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Instead of gaining 2 back, you'll only gain 1 exhaustion per turn. Because what I want the feeling to be is, like, let's say what I want it to be is that you're going through like a slog of enemies within different encounters. So as you get further in, you're like losing more and more exhaustion and more of your HP, so it becomes more and more dangerous to keep fighting. But if you've managed yourself well, then while it still should be lower, it shouldn't be that much lower. Maybe there should be like a temporary temporary slash permanent kind of way of losing exhaustion. Like if like throughout fights. Like you have a max exhaustion where at the end of the story you'll get it all back. And then at the next session you'll continue with your full exhaustion, right? But I think in one session you should have there should be the possibility of I like let's say my max exhaustion is 5. Later on, at the end, I should like have a max exhaustion of 3. So it's like, oh, like like my character is tired from all the wear and tear of battle. Have a way of having your max exhaustion go down throughout a session, but between stories, it resets. This will be meant to implement the fatigue and wear and tear of battle on the player. Yeah. But I also want it to be possible to like these skills and such also make it possible for people to for players to specialize in certain fields, right? Like I want to be better at melee combat, or I want to be better at long range combat, or scouting, or I want to be more healing, or I want to be this and that. Right? That's what I want. That's what I would like. That's my idea. I could have also been in the tabletop role playing game category, but I was like, man, this is literally called the game. I know this is software and game development. Like it's meant to be more tech stuff, but I'm like, it counts. You know, it's although it probably would have been better to be in the tabletop. It's fine. It's fine. They don't gotta know. Who are they gonna tell? They don't gotta know. Yeah, but I think the idea could be like you explain what the idea of the game is, explain what's around them, and then instead of just like having to keep explaining different rules, just be like, this is what you have on you. This is what you're good at. Now let's start the battle. And I'll be like, and then I could instead of being like, all right, roll this. All right, do like, what's your turn? You could just be like, it's your turn. What do you do? It's your turn. There's you are knocked down. There's a piece of wood next to you. You're holding your handgun. And there's also a chair to your left and right. What do you do? And then the player could instead of having to be like, I swing, or like I take my turn to get up and then use my exhaustion maneuver to swing. If the player wants, they could roleplay. They could be like I rocketly get up while grabbing while grabbing the broken piece of wood off the ground. And when it's their next turn, they could be like, I say this, and then I charge in, ready to stab whoever enters my path. Right? It's stuff like that you could do. And the GM just has to be like, okay, they said this. This sounds like just a get up and a grab action. And then the next one, okay, this sounds like an anticipate and move. Or move and anticipate. And then instead of being like, oh, you're nearly out of exhaustion, you have to do this, you could be like if they're like around half, you could be like, you're starting to feel a bit groggy. If you're really close to passing out, you could be like, all the wear and tear and the fatigue buildup is causing you to be unable to swing as hard, or is unable to like be as adrenaline filled as you were before. So you can't do as many things as quickly. And then they'll know you're soon about to pass out if you keep fighting so vigorously. So then they know, okay, I need to calm down. I'll have to this turn, maybe I should try like running away, or I should try catching my breath, right? I think that's the from like this idea that I've mocked up. I think that's the strength of it, is that it is very much like combining roleplay and mechanics in an interesting way. I really want it to be like you can do any, like if you were in a fight in an action movie or real life, what would you do? Either improvised or tactical. And can that be done in this game? The answer should be yes, all the time. Ugh, those are the ideas. That is what I have. I think the cool thing about skills too is that I guess not just skills, but just system in general is that I also want it to be possible that you can like just incapacitate people instead of just killing them. Like you can make your character be like kind of like not a pacifist is not the right word, but like not a killer. They try to avoid killing at all costs. Or maybe you just have a mission where you're meant to go out and not kill anyone, or you're in a mission and you're meant to go get a target, but not kill that target. You're just meant to kidnap that target for investigation or interrogation or something. So what you do is you can utilize skills for that. Like instead of trying to take down this guy's HP, what I have to do is I have to completely stop him from being able to do anything, right? So I could start by trying to knock people prone, and then when they're prone, I could try disabling their body parts, or trying to force them to use all of their exhaustion, right? things like that. Where like I want to make it so that you cannot do anything. Instead of having to take down your HP, I have to take out your exhaustion. So sometimes I might want to hit you really hard so that you're forced to use exhaustion to try and block that damage. Oh, I think I forgot to write that down too. Well, there you go. Um, when taking incoming damage, if you don't wish to anticipate it, you can instead elect to reduce the damage using one exhaustion per one damage to reduce it to a minimum of one damage. Yeah, so there's things like that where you'll want to force them to use exhaustion. I think maybe I should have a skill or the maneuver. I should be able to utilize maneuver. I'll have it be a skill. I think there should be a skill where you force someone else to use exhaustion by hitting them. What would that be called though? Hmm. I should also change hard hitter to heavy hitter. Hard hitter sounds like it'll do extra damage. Heavy hitter sounds like it'll knock you prone. What would make someone? What would exhaust someone from taking? If I hit you, right? It doesn't hurt, but it makes you tired. What would that? What would that be called? Um, when hitting or throwing, when hitting a target, thrown or otherwise, your attack deals one exhaustion to your enemy. What would that do? What would that be called? What would that be called? An attack that exhausts the enemy. Maybe I'll just look that up. An attack that exhausts the enemy. Maybe Blitz. Blitzkrieg or just Blitz. What is it? I forget what it means. Blitz. German to English. Blitz. Flash. Krieg. War. Blitzkrieg. That doesn't make sense. An attack that exhausts the enemy. Maybe depletion or just deplete. Or it could just be exhaust or fatigue. Fatigue or exhaust. Depletion. I'll just say exhaust. Exhaust target. Just exhaust. Yeah, so most cases, well, I guess not most cases, but exhaust like might not be super useful all the time, right? Like if I'm exhausting an enemy, I'm using an exhaustion to take away one of their exhaustions, right? Not super useful. But but if I'm fighting someone and they're on low exhaustion, I can use my exhaustion if I have higher exhaustion. I can use my exhaustion to lower theirs to either knock them out or to lower their possibility of doing something. So it can be very useful. Um, you regain exhaustion. All right. Uh, this is a pretty good game, I find. Although I am the one that made it, so of course there's gonna be some love, some love from me. I'm gonna give some big love and kiss to my game. I do want to have some kind of wear and tear system, but I think that's for later. Right now, I need to come up with something for the play by play. Oh, maybe if you use too much of your exhaustion, like if by the end of the fight you have lost more than like half of your exhaustion or something, then your max gets reduced temporarily. Maybe if you use too much, if you lost too much exhaustion by the end of the encounter, your max gets reduced slightly until you get. Okay, there you go. That's good. Yes, yes, I like that. And the only problem is that none of these things use stats, except for marksmanship. Marksmanship uses stats, and I like the way that it uses it too. But literally nothing else uses stats, which does suck. It does really, really majorly suck. That's okay. It is a okay with me. Hmm. I need to drink some water. We have some good rules here. It definitely needs to be rewritten to be better, but some good stuff. I think there's some good stuff. Sorry if I got way louder. I think I got some good stuff. Although I think I definitely did not write this well enough. So, and I probably did not explain it well enough. None of it probably made sense. But that's okay. With time, we will get there. I'm trying to think if there's anything big I'm missing. There most likely is. I do like that I have a good amount of skills. Oh, I think I also wanted to have a break. I wanted to have a broken condition. So whenever you disable someone's body part, you could then break it. So what this would mean is I would have to hit someone in a certain body part, and then I would have to do it again to break it. But both times I would have to use exhaustion to apply the condition. Right? So the first time, maybe I could also make it maybe requires more exhaustion. Maybe make it its own skill. This is for the broken part. Oh, whoops. So it would be useful because disable is useful because if I'm in a combat, right, and there's multiple people and they all have weapons, then I would have to try and get rid of some of those people's weapons, right? Because that's very dangerous against me. So what I could do is I could disable them to force them to drop it, because that's what disabling does. Disabling forces them to drop it. Right? Maybe I'll write this down. Maybe so they have to take a turn to remove the disable. I might make it so conditions have to take a turn to just remove them. Maybe make it so all conditions have to take a turn to remove them. Get up, to wipe away blood, to reset a joint, etc. I might do that. Yeah, so conditions basically like give you a penalty until you take care of them. So in a fight, I could be blinded in one eye, and then I could have like my left shoulder like disabled, like disjointed, and I could be tripped over. I could take a turn to like wipe away the ash, take another turn to reset the joint, take another turn to get up, right? But I have to take those turns to do those things. And plus, in certain cases, right? If I am, if a body part of mine is disabled, I can't use it, which means I can't pick up a weapon with it. Um, I can't wipe away. I can't wipe away blindness if I can't. If I don't have an arm, right? If I can't use my arm. Yeah, but if the I think the idea is if it's disabled, the joint, that means that like someone has that means someone's like done something to it. Someone has put like immense damage to that place. So then I could take the skill. I could take a skill to, if it's disabled, just outright break it, and that means that that limb, that part, that body part is no longer usable at all. Very useful for doing it against arms because you could usually carry two weapons or one like two-handed weapon, obviously, or like one heavy big machine, like a machine gun, like a minigun or something. If you have the strength for it, which no one does, but if you were to, if I were to disable that a body part, okay, you drop something that's very useful to me. You can't use that arm, so that means if you're yeah, if I'm in a fight and I'm holding a gun and a knife, that's harder to fight against than someone just holding a knife or someone just holding a gun, right? Because if you're holding a knife or a gun, if you're holding a knife and a gun, I could shoot you from far away, and up close, I could attack you with my knife. I can't attack you with my gun up close, usually, or at least not as well. If I'm holding just a knife, then it's either I'm close to you, and if I'm far away, the only way I'm useful is if I throw the knife at you, right? Same thing with a gun. A gun, I'm very useful if I'm far away. If I'm close to you, I'm not as useful. So disabling a body part is important because it means I'm cutting down your option, right? And if, especially so if it's broken. If it's broken, I can't fix that, which means for the rest of the fight, I'm at a major disadvantage. So that's what I like about the broken thing. Although I feel like it should be a condition, but I also feel like maybe it should not be. I don't know. Okay. I'll write here conditions have to take a turn to remove them. Or hold on. You have to take a turn to remove condition. And then I'll write each condition requires its own turn to remove. Okay, perfect. So now it is forced to drop it. Okay, and now additionally, you cannot use that body part until you remove the condition. Okay. And then I'll add the broken body part. This condition can only be applied to disabled body parts. The same conditions apply as if it were disabled, but you can not take a turn to remove this condition. You cannot take a turn to remove this condition. There you go. I like that. I like this. This is nice. I don't know what deafen should do, really. I don't really know what hearing can do to aid you. It can disorient you if you are deafened. But I'm not sure by how much. And I'm not sure in mechanics wise how it should be done. Now, this is also all without spells. I do have ideas where I want you to be able to have spells. But these are the most fleshed out ideas I have so far. And I think I want to add spells like after the fact. Because you don't like you could play the entire game without having spells, and even if you have spells, they probably won't be like super powerful. They will most likely be utility or slight damaging spells. Because my idea is that spells will I think spells will be like kind of like a utilize action, but they will always cost exhaustion, I think. It'll always exhaust you to cast a spell. So they can be great for utility, but yeah. I might make apply condition just a default skill that everyone has. Or I might make it that so that apply condition you have to get multiple times for each condition. Maybe make the apply condition skill have to be obtained multiple times per condition. I think that will be better. Because then I could be like really good at blinding someone, or I could be or like I could disable people's arms, but until I get the skill to break it, I can't break it, you know? Or also I could get the disable apply I could apply condition disabled, and then someone else will have to get so I'll have to get the apply condition disabled, and someone else, like my party member, could get the apply condition break. and then it'll be like a tactic where I disable, and then next turn it'll be their turn, and they'll break it. But that might be too strong. That's why I'm thinking that maybe I should have multiple different yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I should have multiple things for it. Like multiple, I mean, they should cost more exhaustion. Yeah. I have to send a thing, and that thing is called a message. And that message will be sent. Excuse me. This is my problem though with uh design. I have a lot of I have a lot of ideas and I write them all down, but a lot of my ideas are very like they're not like, "Oh, this is a great idea. I need to have this." It's more so this is a possible idea that might be fun. So then I'll write down all these ideas and they'll all be like separate things. So then it's very hard to make like one coherent document for it all. As you can clearly tell, I've already added like a bunch of maybe this, maybe that, maybe these ideas in this. Very nice though. I'm hungry. Wow, am I hungry. I didn't make toast. I keep forgetting to pause during the ad breaks and I just keep going. It just keeps happening. I did it this entire every stream this week. I've done this, just forgetting to eat during the stream. In some ways, it could be good. Other ways, it's not. I'm very hungry. Okay. Um. Right time. Right time. Right time. Right time. Right time. Right time. Yeah, I'm looking at. It's showing me a bunch of software and game dev people, and they're all just doing game dev. They're all just doing like video game development, and I'm out here not. I'm just doing tabletop role playing game development. It's okay. It gives me an air of uniqueness. I seem cooler because of it. Trust. Let me check something. Checking the thing. The thing is checked. Okay. Long live Rhea, you get the thing. She gets the raid. She's cool. She makes cool stuff, works with cool people, and is cool. Alright, there's not many people here, but it's fine. We have fun. I had fun. And later today, I hope we'll have more fun with the D&D. Yippee. Okay, bye. Bye now. Bye.